and you make the game what it is. So we think you deserve a better betting experience. Every time you bet with Fanatic Sportsbook, win or lose, you get up to 5% of your wager back in fan cash. Spend it on jerseys, fan gear, bonus bets, and more. And for a limited time, bet and get up to $1,000 in bonus bets over 10 days. Welcome to the most rewarding sportsbook.
This may be a life changer.
The best of the best is a pretty damn big deal.
All walks of life abounds in this one game. It's just amazing.
It's special.
It's a different level of excitement. It's a different level of adrenaline.
This is the show.
Surreal. It's wonderful. It's the mecca for tournaments.
Racing fans, welcome to Hawthorne Racecourse for a Sunday Father's Day afternoon of Thoroughbred action. Jim Miller and Emily Gullikson up here in our mezzanine level studio. We wish a happy Father's Day to everybody who's out there watching. Emily, it's a little warm, but you know what? It's not terrible. There's actually a pretty good breeze today. Temperature's right around 90 degrees. We're going to have inflatable dinosaurs. You have everything you need.
Yeah, definitely. And happy Father's Day. And I was going to say, you look very Sunday dad today in the baseball jersey, enjoying the Sunday and the Father's Day. But yeah, it's a little warm. We'll have that shortened post parade. And you mentioned the horses getting hosed down before, right. And then the Dino Derby, which will go between what, races 6 and race 7?
6 and 7, yep. Okay, so after our stake race today, and for those that are asking just about how we handle things for our equine athletes, when they come over, we have hoses set up that are on the apron for when they come over. They get hosed down prior to the race, they can get hosed down after the race, and everybody brings their water buckets in as well. But yeah, you know, I get to go out and I get to interview the connections of the Dino Derby. I also get to interview the connections of everything that goes on with the stakes race today. But yeah, it is Father's Day. I wanted to be comfortable. My team stinks. But you know what? Myself and Matt Quirk up in the TV room, we both love the White Sox. I mean, this is our team. So because of that, we got to stick with them and just kind of do everything we can to try to stand by our guys, the worst team in baseball. I mean, that's the true dad quality, right? Yeah. Is loyalty through and through the hard times. So much respect, and I love it. I love like the personality that comes through and supporting the local team as well. It was going to be this or throw on my jean shorts and my New Balances and mow the lawn today, so I chose to go this way for racing. You don't want to be out there mowing the lawn. That's no fun on a day like today. It can grow. It can grow a little bit. That's right. I'd rather watch the horses run over the lawn here at Hawthorne, so that's what we will be doing. Before we jump into the card, we want to make note we do have a late pick 5 carryover. There were some monster prices yesterday. Starts in race 6 today, but the late pick 5 carryover, $4,660. That's free money to go after, so make sure you jump in on that in race number 6. As Emily mentioned, short and post parades today. They'll go on the track about 3 or 4 minutes to post, so we will have a little bit extra time to talk about the races. But again, keep them out of the heat for as long as possible. So we kick things off in the opener. $5,000 claimers. They go 5.5 furlongs in the first. Field of 6 to line up in a race number 1. Emily, looking at the board right now, the 4 is Sweet Crystal, is your current betting favorite, currently at even money. Horse that can show some speed, and a horse that's probably helped by the scratch of My Lady Slew. Yeah, has that early speed, has some upside second off. We saw Hugh Robertson get a winner yesterday, going back to even the debut with the excuse. Has lots of upside, I think makes sense in here. But I think both you and I gave a look to Jolie Ruler as well as Luna Love to maybe upset a little bit. We'll see how the board shakes out, but currently at even money on Sweet Crystal and has been favored since that first click. Yeah, and that was the thing about it, and I think we both kind of felt that same way about Sweet Crystal too. Yeah, Luna Love is who I went to on top. Alberto Burgos aboard for trainer Brian Cook. Burgos has been here for the last few Sundays to ride here at Hawthorne. He's even dabbled on some of the Saturday cards too, but he's been picking up some mounts. A very good rider there on the Indiana circuit, but this is a horse that scratched out of a tougher spot yesterday for this spot today. I really like where they're placed. I think the horse should run well. Jolie Ruler is a horse that will take some action later on. Sitting at 9-2 on the board right now, but I think that one is a horse that will take a whole lot of action as we get closer to post time in the opener. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a competitive race to start off the early pick 5. That's right. Race number 2 starts the early pick 4. We go 1 mile and 70 yards in the second. $5,000 claimers in here as well with a field of 6 to line up. Maiden Rock scratched as an MTO on a race yesterday on the turf for this spot as well. Emitas is the horse that I laid as the 4-5 favorite. Burgos aboard for trainer John Heron, who's been very good. I did go that way, but I know you was looking at your notes. You thought there was the potential for a possible little bit of a pace shape maybe to help someone else too.
Yeah, you got to trust the data. It looks like Jocelyn and Emmy Taz could go out there, hook up early on, and could set up a trip for Cairo Summer. I had a hard time making a strong opinion in here, but I thought in terms of value, if those two take action, Cairo Summers run some competitive races this season. He's had a little bit more time between starts and could just get that right trip, be able to track inside, sit behind those first two and look for first run at a little bit of a price.
Yeah, Cairo Summer is 6-1 in the morning line. That's why I picked second in here. Rashawn Blanche aboard this runner today. He rode a really good race for trainer Chris Ryan yesterday, 75-1 too. But he has been riding well over the last couple of weeks, but that was a really nice winner there yesterday. Part of the reason that we do have that late pick 5 carryover as well. Race number 3 goes 3/4 of a mile, $5,000 claimers in here as well. Non-winners of 2 races lifetime. It's a field of 6 to line up in this spot. And again, I think we saw the race similarly. I know Purple Octopus will show some speed, but Be Lucky could as well too. A horse like Hoppin' John coming in off the layoff goes right back at the same level, and I kind of like that move. Don't run over your head if you think this is a spot you can win.
Yeah, and is placed properly, as you mentioned, and could get the right trip. Again, looking at the plot, it looks like Be Lucky has early speed. Same thing with Purple Octopus, 2 horses that also fit at this condition. But if those 2 go out there and duel early on, Hoppin' John could be in the right time and place to get first run in some of the closers and get first run in that dueling pair.
Yeah, Rachel Slavinsky's been riding very well too, the bug rider here. She was on that horse that wigged out in the gate in the finale yesterday. Fortunately, she avoided any type of injury, was able to walk off under her own power and return to the jocks room there. Horse was fine too. It was one of those that I think just probably a little bit more time at the gate to figure things out. Maybe can get back there over the course of the next few weeks. Race number 4 is the first of 4 on the grass. We go 1 mile and a 16th in this spot. It's allowance runners in here today. Scratch the 5, Bontemps Rule, and scratch the 9, A Valiant West. Leaves you with a field of 7 to line up. And Emily, looking up and down this field, Chris Block's got a couple in here. They're the inside 2 posts, Tough Little Nut and Ion Rye. I picked them 1-2. I just went to Ion Rye, just searching for a little bit more of a price.
I picked them 1-2 as well, but went the opposite way.
Okay.
Went Tough Little Nut on top and Ion Rye. I think those 2 just make a lot of sense in here. Tough Little Nut presents upside, getting a little bit of a weight break, coming back, and Ion Rye, being the older of the 2, has the benefit of recency and coming back from a really good effort in non-winners of 1 allowance company.
Yeah, and you're right. They're both lightly raced. They both have the 1 lifetime victory, that maiden score. And if you look, both of those horses broke their maiden on the grass. So the turf definitely suits. It's a firm turf course with it being warm, and it's one of those we're going to have the sprinklers on that turf all week long. It's just going to be, you're just going to have to keep that
sprinklers on in here.
Yeah, I know. It is a little toasted. There's a little hum here. Do you ever notice there's like a little hum in the background every once in a while too?
Occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, I have tried to just kind of zone it out after a while. We have a ladder over here. I'm going to climb that ladder, take a hammer, just start kind of knocking on the thing until we can see if we can knock that out. It might be worthwhile. What do you think?
Yeah, good luck up there. You never know what you might find.
I know, you might get lost up there. You're not wrong about that one. Those 2 horses definitely both in the mix. Shady McGee's one to look to as well from the barn of Armando Hernandez, just because this horse has 4 lifetime victories, but they fall below the conditions to be able to keep this one eligible for this spot. But Shady McGee's a horse that's hit the board in 13 out of 28 on the grass as well. Could be pretty tough there in the 4th. 5th race on the card, Illinois bred allowance runners in this spot. It's a field of 6 to line up in a race number 5. Scratch the 4, Miss Mikos. That's a big scratch in here. But the other Hugh Robertson remains in this race. It's the horse that actually defeated Miss Mikos back in her debut. That's Dream Nap. Dream Nap snuck off at 10-1 in that spot there. You're not going to get 10-1 in here today.
No, it was one of those on paper that you're like, seems like 10-1. It's a first-time starter. It's probably going to need a race.
Yep.
And then we got to look her in the paddock. We're like, wait a minute. This horse looks like an athlete. Just made a really positive appearance. I'm going to go back to Dream Nap in here. I thought that race was dominant first out, the type of effort that could step up in class. Has a pretty solid group that they're going to run against, but at the same time pretty reasonable. Scratch the other one. Could be 7-10 as well. I was on Dream Nap before, and no reason to change at this point.
Why run 2 and 1 will do, and that's the thing. Dream Nap should be good enough to get the job done. The price is going to be shorter. She'll be the favorite in here. Since that last race, a bullet work, 47-4, and like you mentioned, this is kind of one of those where it was the key of seeing these horses in the paddock, because she made a really striking impression that day. Miss Mikos broke just a step slow in that spot, and Dream Nap was forwardly placed, but wasn't having to like push that hard to be in that position, just kind of ran into that position and then drew clear late. But I do think she'll be very tough as well. I'm with you. I like her chances there in race number 5. Race 6 today is our stakes race on the card, and it's one of those things that's interesting. When we're looking for names for stake races, especially for Illinois breds, you want accomplished Illinois bred horses in the different conditions at the races they've been good at. Well, this is one where the horse is still running, and it's actually happened in California last year, too. We had a horse running in that horse's own race. Well, it's the Katie Milady handicap. She's the 5 horse in here. She's got every chance in the world. She's been really good at Hawthorne, though, in her career. 9 starts here at Hawthorne, 8 of 9 on the board, 4 of those coming as victories, and she's a horse that's been a specialist on the turf. The problem is you got Ouvre in here, who's been fantastic as well. She's awesome, approaching $850,000 in lifetime earnings. Is it going to be these two duking it out?
You know, I think that's what makes this race interesting, right? Because you have Katie Milady, who has that early speed, and then you've got Ouvre, who might just have to be forced into the race to push the pace, which isn't necessarily her game. So it makes it a little bit interesting because those two being quality runners that are up front, and that's where I gave number 4, Trail Ridge Road, a look. Trail Ridge Road has a lot of quality to her, certainly fits in the stakes race. And I just thought in terms of trip, that's what it comes down to. Because when you start looking at individuals, you're like, wow, she's really good. Wow, they're really good. And then you kind of look at the race and you said, you know what? I think the race sets up for Trail Ridge Road, coming off the layoff into a stakes race, seems to have some confidence, and the barn going well. But I think those 3 kind of stand out in here, and you got to make a decision which one it is.
Well, and the thing is, what's curious is there's 2 Boyce runners with somewhat similar running styles. Journey is a horse that can show some speed as well. Katie Milady is a little bit faster, but look at Ouvre's last race. All right, Percy ran a bang-up race there, and Julio Felix said the horse was running really well, and that horse still got run by late, and Percy came back, ran a really good race in a sprint yesterday on the main track again, beaten by a good runner in Kaylee's sister. But Ouvre, Chris Block in the winner's circle after that last race said, hey, I think she might even be better around 2 turns on grass. Well, we're going to find out here. The question is, will the handicap of the weight get her a little bit, having to carry 130 compared to 124? 6 pounds is a big difference, but she is so talented too.
Yeah, she is. She would be no surprise, but she's going to be short in there, and again, she's going to have to work at a trip, and yeah, maybe she is better around 2 turns, but she's going to have to prove it. Right. Still, and in a tough group. And
it's a tough group. You're going to be running into a headwind in the lane there too, and that usually favors front runners a little bit, but it's blowing pretty significantly today. So see how things unfold. But that's a solid race for the Katie Milady handicap. After that race, Dino Derby. Inflatable dinosaurs are going to be on the main track. I wish we could. That would be. There's 24 options, so it's kind of like Swedish harness racing if you want to go out there and place a wager. But Rock 95.5 will be out here as well. The dinos are going to be running down the stretch, but that'll be after race number 6. So we'll be sure to check that out. I'm going to interview some of the folks from 95.5 and the winning dino today. So we'll see who can be victorious in there. But
hopefully there's no extinction due to the heat.
That would be bad if that were to happen. We'll see if we have any fossils on the track when all's said and done after that race. In race number 7, we have leg 1 of the Big Sports Series. Starter Allowance Company, they go 5/8 of a mile. This is a series that goes 5/8, 5.5, 3/4, 6.5 as it progresses. So it could change a little bit based on the distance for a lot of these. But in this spot, you get a field of 7 to line up. Red Label is a horse that ran really well in that last out. I looked to that one in that spot, but I saw you gave a little bit of a look to Can Mandu from the Irvin Moreno barn, too.
Yeah, a lot of this late sequence, I'm single. I have some strong opinions that I'm willing to just kind of sink into, and Can Mandu being one of those. Looks well spotted by Irvin Moreno. Second start off the layoff and of the form cycle, which has been a successful pattern in the past. Even when this horse doesn't get the win off that pattern, it's improving numbers. And so that's what I want to see. I think a lot of times people just focus on the results based, and they're not looking to see, okay, this horse had a little bit of trouble, but they improved 12 points.
Right.
Okay, if I look at their last race and I project, okay, they're going to move 10 to 12 points again, this horse is a contender. And so that's where I'm looking at Can Mandu in here. Red Label, as you mentioned, ran a great race last out, but did have a perfect trip.
Yep.
So I'm always one that's like, when a horse has a perfect trip and they come back at a short price, I'm willing to take them on.
Yeah, the one thing that flattered me a little bit with Red Label is Time Heist coming back and winning rather impressively yesterday. So that does help. But you're right about Can Mandu. My only concern for that one was McVicker. It's a horse that can show speed as well. But it's cool that you have Brittany Vandenberg with a horse in here in McVicker, because she trained a big sport throughout the course of that one's career. So it's very cool to see her with a horse in this spot as well. This is the start of the late pick 4. Second leg of the late pick 5. Again, that late pick 5 carryover, $4,660. Race number 8 today, back to the turf. $25,000 maidens in this spot, 5.5 on the firm turf going. It's a key scratch for this reason. I understand the scratch. It's the mare that was facing the boys and Maggie E, who comes out of here. But she was fast. She was going to keep things honest on the front end, and maybe changes the pace complexion a little bit, because now a horse like Legendary Phantom definitely moves up in this spot. So this is a horse that doesn't necessarily need the lead to win, but should be forwardly placed in this race, so things really change quite a bit.
Yeah, you know, maybe I think they do, obviously, because Maggie E was going to be forward, especially from the rail, and I thought, Legendary Phantom could still get the trip because he'd sit right off Maggie E, and Maggie E shows that early speed and then backs up, so Legendary Phantom would be right there. But as you mentioned, Legendary Phantom has early speed, and there's no reason why they can't now just make the lead from the inside and say, catch me if you can, because he's in a good spot. He's cutting back in distance, which is the right move for this individual. Just based on that physicality, he's a flow upgrade from the recent starts and those races at Gulfstream Park, going very fast early. So I think Legendary Phantom makes a lot of sense, and they could have to catch him on the front end.
We've talked about the Weinball Barn heating up. Right? They have just the one win from 19 starts open the meet, but 11 of 19 on the board. Everything's running well, and these are horses that are ready to turn those second and third place efforts into victories. So see what Legendary Phantom shows for us. You have a first timer from the Ravelli Barn of Willie Bird, who probably is going to show speed for David Cohen. I took a shot with the 8, Red Rizzler, this one from the barn of Cody Rosine. They wanted turf in that last out, but the race came off the turf, ran on the main track, finished 4th against Maiden Allowance Company. Now they're back in for the tag. Rosine's had some horses take to the turf in their first time on the grass too. Maybe this is one that can do so. I don't mind the outside draw, I just worry that there's a little bit different pace scenario in the race. So.
Yeah, but you're right. This would probably be the time and place, getting the surface that they want and that class change, all things positive.
Yeah, definitely. All right, race number 9 today, allowance runners. They go 1 mile and 70 yards. It's a field of 7 to line up in this spot. Now you got Commissioner Gulch coming in from a 3rd place effort sprinting in the 3rd chance handicap. If you look at speed figures, this horse is a standout. The question is the distance. You're going from 3/4 to 1 mile and 70. You have some others that are proven a little bit more around 2 turns, like the 6. That's 4:57. That's a horse that I think could be in the mix in here. I'll be curious to see maybe what like a horse like Julianne shows us, Callie Sue as well. But I think this is a tougher race possibly than maybe just the even money favorite.
Yeah, I agree. And I went to the 2 that you mentioned.
Okay.
Number 6, 4:57. That's kind of tricky, right?
Yep.
6, 4, 5, 7. Has the class edge. Back at this non-winners of 1 allowance condition. Recorded a B optics grade, which to me is a winning effort for the level, even if they don't get the win with that place finish. Broke slow from the rail. Ended up making a move behind the first run winner, which was a main track only runner called Shebi Sheehan. Those 2 were together at the wire, and then brought upside just in terms of the form cycle. So I'm gonna go back to number 6, 4:57 in this race. You have to be careful there. And then number 4, Julian, how are we doing? Julian. I gave her a look last out. I thought there was intent coming back to Hawthorne after a long time with the races at FanDuel Park, stretching out in distance. There was intent. Wasn't crazy about that trip. Broke slow and then just was wide against the flow. It wasn't a very strong race, but I just think she has more to show.
Sure.
So I'd be willing. This would be the time that if you're going to give another shot, you're going to get price compensation. And then I think the connections probably feel the same way. They'll give her another shot and then decide where to go. And if she's the horse that they think she is, then she'll do really well here. And then that's rewarding their patience.
Well, and the thing about it, Steve Manley's not shipping up from Fairmount Park just to give a horse a race. He's shipping up with intent to run. And you catch a shorter field, you catch a 7-horse field in here. Why not take another shot at the level? Chris Amy back in the saddle today. So let's see what Julianne shows us as well at a possible price there in race number 9. The finale, back to the turf, another allowance field here. We go 1 mile on the turf course. It's a field of 8 to line up in the finale. Looking at this race, Fausto Gutierrez has the 6. That's Stephanie's Charm in this spot. Horse that was running in Kentucky in recent starts. Not a bad effort in that last out. It was 44-1 that day. Not going to be anywhere close to 44-1 today. This should be the favorite.
Yeah, Stephanie's Charm ran a huge last out.
Yeah.
That was not an ideal trip. It's a better than looked effort. Made a move, massive gallop out. I feel like we could have a similar result to yesterday's finale with Fausto Gutierrez and Chris Block. With Fausto Gutierrez training Stephanie's Charm, and then Chris Block with number 3, I'm Box Office. I went to those 2. I'm Box Office will make a return off the layoff, but coming back from an excuse, ran some really good races last year, has plenty of upside and in the right spot to compete.
Off the Land was a ridiculous price in the finale yesterday too. Ended up paying $11.
We talked about it. We're like, of the 2 Fausto Gutierrez runners,
that was the one we liked.
Yeah, that was the one we liked. Had the most upside, had the potential class edge, and that's the difference between class and speed figures.
Right.
It's hard to separate even as a handicapper, but the more races that you watch, you really understand that it makes a big difference, and we saw that come into fruition last night in the finale.
That horse, when it switched leads in the lane, straight and strong, just absolutely took off, ran a big race. The block runners ran well in there. This one was just closing more quickly.
Yeah, she was closing quickly on the outside, and then Chris Block's runner on the inside, something Ann. There was another one. It was an 8-horse.
Yep.
Just down on the inside, I give those horses credits when they're lightly raced. It's only a second start. Having to close inside, not easy for horses to do.
Right.
So good efforts from those two, and
Yeah.
maybe we'll have a repeat in tonight's finale.
Yeah, so we'll see how things unfold there in the last. All right, that's how we see the 10 races again. We're 8 minutes to post for the opener. Shift down and take a look at the horses in the paddock. Again, short and post parades today due to the warmer temps, so go at about 3 or 4 minutes to post. But in the opener, $5,000 claimers, now winners of 3 races, lifetime scratch to 2, my lady. Slew, we go 5.5 furlongs in the first, Emily. It's a field of 6 to line up. Favoritism has switched now. It's gone to the outside horse, the 7, Luna Love. That's who I picked in this spot here. You get Alberto Burgos aboard for trainer Brian Cook. They scratched yesterday. They're in today, and you see them. Hey, smart. You got the bucket. You got some water. Keep the horse cool and see if they run well for you.
Yeah, come up here when you're done. But as far as Luna Love scratching from the race yesterday, even though it was the same condition, it was a much higher race par yesterday.
Yep.
Today's race par is similar to the race that she ran in last out at Horseshoe, Indianapolis, and ran good that day. Broke slow from the rail, then made a move. Overall competitive effort for the level, so I think there's intent. Brian Cook has been sending out live runners, and this one makes a really good appearance now as we're getting a look at her.
Yeah, I like the way this horse is spotted in this race. I like the way the pace sets up for this horse. Should be able to rate in that second flight, move forwardly late, but makes a really, really good impression in the paddock. I like the looks of Luna Love as well here in race number 1. 4 horses, Sweet Crystal. Sweet Crystal was the horse that was the favorite when we first started talking about the races today. Currently 2-1 second choice, runs for Hugh Robertson, Israel Hernandez aboard today. Another one that looks pretty good in the paddock right now. She's going to show speed in the spot. The question is how far she can carry that speed.
Yeah, this would be the time for her to carry her speed. She's done so pretty well in that second off when she comes in fresh. Last out, she had trouble at the start, then had to rush up and did have a brief lone lead before tiring late. But that was the first start back off a 276-day layoff. 4 of the 6 made contact at the start. She was stalked by the open length chalk winner. Still a good place for her. And she gets clear on the front end. Just could be tough. That's her game.
And that's the thing. If she gets brave out there in the lead, she could take them all the way around. So we will see how things unfold there in the race number 1 for Sweet Crystal. The 5 horses, Jolie Ruler. Jolie Ruler from the barn of trainer Ralph Martinez, 3-1 on the board right now. I laid this one as the 8-5 favorite. Speed figure-wise, maybe the most consistent of the bunch. Last couple of races in for that $7,500 price tag. Back in for that tag again today. Has that tactical speed, so shouldn't be too far out of it. I was actually surprised this horse isn't taking a little bit more action in here.
Yeah, that just shows that we talked about how competitive this race is. And as far as Jolie Ruler, she ran a competitive race here at the level earlier this season, going back to the March 31st race, which was an open $8,500 claiming event, and then wheeled back in 2 weeks, which is probably the right spot for her, that 3rd place finish on April 14th. And I think they're looking for similar.
Yeah, I think her dog wants a drink of water up here. Frost looks like he's just kind of chilling around, so we'll see how things unfold.
He's got a bowl of water, but it's warm up here.
He's
definitely reminding us it's a little toasty today.
It was like a yoga pose there that Frost had going on. All right, one more to touch on here. That's the 6. That's Rare Action Attack. Orlando Mojica aboard this runner today for trainer Vance Childers. I had a hard time figuring out what we're going to get out of this horse because the recent starts have all come against much, much better company, but they've also come on the turf. You get in for the $5,000 price tag today. Is this one that you're getting in, trying to sneak by, get starter eligible? Or is this just where the horse belongs?
Yeah, it is kind of interesting, right? There are some dirt races in their form and competitive races going back to 2022 in the spring, but it has been a long time since they've run on the main track. But I think part of that was they're running so well on the turf. Right. They wanted to just keep staying on the turf. But as you mentioned, the class relief just could be the right move and the right time and place, making that second start off the layoff, and did look like a prep last out.
Yeah, it definitely did look like a prep last out. It looks like we got a little bit more time as we await riders in the paddock for the first one. So how about the 1, Lunar Key? Olaf Hernandez aboard this runner today for trainer Antonio Miraz. Better efforts in those starts 2 and 3 back. Showed speed in that last out before giving way into the lane.
Yeah, had a little bit of issues at the gate, and then there was the weather conditions that day. It was light rain. There was a sealed racetrack, near sloppy conditions, a little restless in the gate from the inside before chasing inside and losing ground. Could project a little bit of a move forward, but has to get better out of the gate, especially as they have the inside once again.
Now we might as well talk about the 3. She's a Hoot since we're here. Carlos Ulloa rides. This horse ran second at 75-1 in that last out. Best race that we've seen in a long time for She's a Hoot, and you get a look at her right there. Yeah, getting a little bit warm as we're getting a look at her, but I mean, hard to knock that effort. Right. That was a really good effort. I mean, the weather conditions, as noted, but I'm better than look. She got shuffled back. She put in a big close. It wasn't one of those that the race was slowing late and she just kind of sucked up for second. She was running. That was a good effort from She's a Hoot. Her groom's wearing a hoodie today with long sleeves. That's a brave man right there because it's toasty outside. Riders are out in the paddock right now getting ready to give them a leg up here for race number 1. Good luck.
Racing fans, looking ahead to today's 7th race. In the 7th race, number 4, Robust, wore blinkers last time out and will wear blinkers today. That's the 7th race for Robust, wore blinkers last time out and will wear blinkers today. Thank you. Coming on the track for the Sunday opener, remember shortened post parades all day long. They'll go 5 1/2 furlongs. Scratch 2, My Lady Slew, field of 6, no jockey changes, no overweights. Win, play, show, exacta, trifecta, superfecta. This race starts the rolling doubles, rolling pick 3s, the 50-cent pick 5, and the $1 place pick 8. Parading here they are, 1 Lunarchy, Ola Fernandez in the saddle, 2 is Scratch. Here's number 3, She's a Hoot. The rider today is Carlos Yaloa. 4, Sweet Krista, will be handled by Israel Hernandez. 5 is Jolie Ruler with Alexander Bendezu. 6, Rare Action Attack, Orlando Mojica. And 7, Luna Love, the rider is Alberto Burgos. They'll be at the gate in about 2 minutes. Remember, shortened post parades all day long today. Reminder here at Hawthorne, win, play, show wagers, lowest takeout in the country, just 12%. Place pick 8 wager, just an 8% takeout. Track fast, turf is firm today here at the track. Racing fans, a little time remains for you to wager on today's first race at Hawthorne, which features rolling doubles, rolling pick 3s, the 50-cent pick 5, and the $1 place pick 8. We have a 10-race program today. Warm temperatures here in the Chicagoland area. Shortened post parades all day long due to the temperatures. Track is fast, turf firm, rail set at 0 feet. We have 1 carryover pool today, the late pick 5. That starts on race number 6 as a carryover $4,660. Once again, we do say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers in attendance today, whether you're here at the track, off-track facilities, or in the comfort of your own home. We do thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoy your special day. They're moving towards the gate for race 1 at Hawthorne in less than a minute. Racing fans are at the starting gate for today's first race here at Hawthorne. Horses are entering the starting gate. Last two to go in, Sweet Crystal and Luna Love. Waiting now for Luna Love. She's in there on the gate. They're off. Jolie Ruler out for the lead. In between horses, Sweet Crystal came away well. She's a Hoot came away third. And then on the inside, Lunar Key fourth. Far outside, Luna Love fifth. Reaction Attack between horses sixth. Just about a half mile to run. Sweet Crystal is taking the lead. Draws away by 3. Jolie Ruler second. Lunar Key third. Then far outside, Luna Love fourth. In fifth, Rare Action Attack, and She's a Hoot drops out last. Less than 3 furlongs to go. Sweet Crystal scampered away to lead by 5. Jolie Ruler racing second. Lunar Key third. Luna Love gains ground fourth. Then it's Rare Action Attack, and She's a Hoot. Around the turn or in the stretch, Sweet Crystal leads the way by 3. Here's Jolie Ruler, now moving quickly to the leader on the outside. Then moving up third is Luna Love. In fourth position, Lunar Key. Inside the final furlong, Jolie Ruler now takes the lead and says bye-bye. Jolie Ruler drawing away with each and every stride. And Jolie Ruler, a 4-length winner in the Sunday opener. Sweet Crystal second, Luna Love third, tight for fourth between She's a Hoot and Lunar Key. In today's first race, 5, Jolie Ruler finished first, 4, Sweet Crystal second, 7, Luna Love third, and 3, She's a Hoot fourth. 5-4-7-3 is posted. It's unofficial. 105.35 the running time. Returning the unofficial winner, 5, Jolie Ruler. Jolie Ruler is owned by Ralph Martinez and Paul Martin. Ralph Martinez trained Alexander Bendezu, the winning rider. Jolie Ruler is an Illinois-bred 7-year-old mare by Road Ruler of the Minister Jolie mare, Jolie Good. Jolie Ruler was bred in Illinois by Don Martin. Today's first race is official, running time 105.35. We'll have prices in a moment.